In this video, I'm going to explain spin selling, which has always been the simplest and most effective sales methodology for me. I'm going to explain what it is, how you can use it, and why it's so helpful. I've got to say, I've been looking forward to making this video because I remember back to when I first heard about spin selling from my mentor, and it was a moment where everything just clicked, right? All of the stuff that I'd learned previously about sales all came together. It was all solidified in my mind. So I really hope that I can share this with you today, and maybe this will be a game changer for you as well. So what is spin selling? Well, spin selling is a sales methodology that was invented by Neil Rackham in the 80s. And in a nutshell, spin selling is all about asking questions, but asking questions in a particular order so that you can gather information from the customer and you get the customer ready and open to receiving a solution, i.e. your product. It's an extremely useful sales methodology that lets you lead conversations in a particular direction. And as I say, for me, it's always been the simplest and most effective of the sales methodologies out there. So SPIN is actually an acronym, and it stands for situation, problems, implications, need, payoffs. So let's break down each of these sections, because I think if we break this down, you'll get a better understanding of the flow of questioning, which is the central part of spin selling. So situational questions, these are all about understanding the customer's current situation. So questions like, what's the current product you're using? How many employees do you currently have? What are you currently doing right now, right? Questions like this. Once you've asked these questions, now you can move on to problem questions. And this is when you want to try and get the customer to explain to you what their problem is. Now, ideally, you already know what the customer problem is because you've done your market research, you understand your customer persona. But even if that is the case, you should still ask these questions, because what you're doing is you're getting the customer to talk about their problems. You're beginning this emotional response. So questions like, what's the biggest problem you have with XYZ? With your current solution, what are some of the problems you encounter, right? Questions like this. Once you've got the customer to talk about their problems, now you can move in deeper. And I think this is what sets spin selling apart from other sales methodologies, and the reason I think it's so powerful. This is the implication phase. This is when you ask the customer about the problem they just explained and how that impacts them. For example, when this problem occurs, what does that mean to you? When you encounter this problem, how does it affect your workday? When your employees encounter this problem, what does that mean for you in terms of lost revenue? The whole point of this step is to get the customer to explain to you why this is an important problem and not just a problem. Basically, you've pushed the knife in and now you're twisting it around. You really want to get the customer to feel this pain and feel why this is a real problem, because then they're going to be much more open to a solution, your product. And this is when we move on to section 4, and this is when we go in for the kill, right? This is when you talk about need payoffs. You ask questions like, if you had a solution to this problem, what would this allow you to do? If there was a solution out there which fixed this problem, what would this mean for you in terms of lost revenue? This is the step where you get the customer to think about a possible solution, and really you're getting the customer to lay the foundation for what you're about to show them, your product. And the customer is going to be a lot more open to this solution because they're still feeling the pain from the previous step, right? They're still feeling the problem, they're still feeling the implications of that problem. Does that make sense? So basically, over the last 4 steps, you've been asking questions, you've been asking them in a particular order to elicit this emotional response and to get the customer ready for your solution. Okay, so that's spin selling in a nutshell, but why is this helpful? What does this allow you to do? Firstly, by going through these questions, you're able to build a very good understanding about your target customers, right? You've basically given your customer a chance to explain to you in their own words what their problem is. And this is so valuable because if it's a problem for them, it's more than likely a problem for other similar customers. So this is great market intelligence to pass back to your team. It's very important information for you to understand going into future meetings. It will help you be properly prepared. Secondly, by following spin selling, you're able to build really strong relationships. And this is because you're providing so much value. You're talking about the customer, their situation, their problems, how it affects them, the solution to their problem, right? You're providing so much value. And if you saw my last video on providing value and building trust, this is it in a nutshell, right? You'll be able to build really strong relationships because you're providing so much value and you're talking about the customer. On top of this, you're going to have much higher conversion rates as well because you're really locking into the essence of selling. you're talking about solving problems, and the essence of selling, solving problems in exchange for money. And this is linked to the fact that this is incredibly customer centric. You're not talking about the product until right at the end, right? Most of the meeting is talking about the customer, their problems, what it means to them, what a solution would look like to them. So you're shifting the focus away from selling a product and you're shifting it towards solving a problem, which links into the essence of selling. This is why I think spin selling is so powerful. It's such an easy framework to follow, but I just think it's a really successful way to go about things. It really taps into the customer's psychology. So I really hope that's helped, and I hope that this becomes a game changer for you as well. This is actually the 4th video in a 9-video series on how to sell anything. So if you'd like to go back and watch the first video and start the series, then you can click down here. If you liked the video, you'd like to see the next video, or just watch other videos on self-improvement, you can subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you in the next video.